Hello, my lovely. You didn't get to where you are in your business by doing shit the way that everybody else does. And you know that what got you to where you are now is not going to get you to where you want to be. And if you are listening to this podcast, it's because you want to be the go-to for what you do better than anyone else. Your brilliance is the niche. Being you, that bold, unfuckwithable presence that you've secretly been craving to set free, she is in there. And that means you will have to burn some old bridges down. And attracting your people will also repel those who are not for you. Fucking hooray. Becoming a force of nature business and brand means no more Miss People Pleaser, no more hiding your turbo brain, no more dimming down jack shit. And if you have ever been told to tone it down as a woman with ADHD, it's time to tone your shit all the way the fuck back up. That is how you create unstoppable momentum in your business and visibility that is something you've been avoiding, but that you truly want. This podcast is about stepping into your upgrade, watering down anything, never change the fucking world. You were not born to be forgettable. And as one of my all-time favorite quotes says, well-behaved women rarely make history, and nothing about you or me is well-behaved. At least not anymore. In today's episode, my behind the scenes Maven Brooke and I are going to go behind the scenes in my business, what we did to simplify it this year. We are going to kind of talk through that. We're going to talk a little bit more about ruthless simplification. We're going to discuss her business, my behind the scene Maven Brooke's business, finding her unrepeatable genius positioning together that her and I did recently. Even though we've been working together for a little while, we'll kind of talk about how that all came to be and just discuss how we supported each other's businesses in 2025 and how that gets to look. So we are going to jump into it. And one more thing, welcome to my girl gang, the Feral Women's Club. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneu, the podcast for feral ADHD women in the online coaching arena who refuse to play by the fucking rules. My name is Carrie. I am your host, and I'm the chief weirdo of Carrie Out Loud. If you're new here, welcome. If you are not, welcome back. You know that it's time for you to help yourself stop the fucking brain chaos and find that clear growth path that your brain says full body fuck yes to, that doesn't rebel against. And if that's you, you're definitely in the right place. If this episode has an impact on you, pretty please, with a big cherry on top, do all the things. Leave a 5-star rating, review of this episode, tell me why it struck a chord, and subscribe. That way, every Wednesday, you'll get a notification. You don't have to try to remember. And I understand your ADHD professionally and personally. So everything I share is my 25 years of business experience and expertise. And it's all filtered through having this feral funhouse of a brain, having ADHD. And I personally do not do this work to be put on a pedestal or adored or to peacock or to swing my big old eggplant around. I'm actually on a mission to help you get the fuck out of your way and grow. And since it's my mission to have as many 6- and 7-figure coaches with ADHD running sustainable business as humanly possible, and my personal goal is to have touched at least 10,000 businesses in my career. If that sounds like something you want to do, then my work is for you. And you are here because you need to be able to look at someone with a brain like yours and a big ass foul mouth who's neurodivergent as fuck with the same magical brain chaos going on and say, well, shit, if she can do it, so can I. And that's when you will start to get to grow like wildfire. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's introduce Brooke. She's been sitting here patiently waiting, the woman behind the scenes and behind my sanity half the days, who keeps me on track. So what I want to do is kind of hand the floor over to you. And from your perspective behind the scenes, I'd love you to kind of give a breakdown of what you think helped me, what I simplified this year that really made a substantial difference in my business and behind the scenes. And then I will also speak to that, but I really would like to get your perspective. And this is all just coming on the fly. We're having this as a coffee chat, and that's how I like to have when people are on, because I don't really want to have a format. I just want to have a talk. And as we're saying coffee talk, Brooke is drinking her coffee. If you're watching, you could see her lovely coffee mug. But yeah, go on ahead and
Yeah.
take the floor, and let's talk about a little bit of what we did this year to really, really hone in on that ruthless simplification.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the first thing that you did was set yourself up for success last year
Yeah.
by starting to unload a lot of the things that you don't need to be doing yourself that someone else can do for you.
Right.
Just the behind the scenes stuff that takes a lot of time and but is repeatable for somebody else. And
Right.
you don't need to necessarily be inside of it for it to be as effective as it is, right?
Right.
So all through 2026, you were able to dedicate more of your like brain space and your time and your energy to creating and building and launching things, right?
Yeah.
And I also saw you behind the scenes ruthlessly simplify everything that you had to offer.
Yeah.
And I got to be a part of building all those things out, which was super fun to see happen. And then we also started creating repeatable launch
Yes.
formulas for you so that like you're like, hey Brooke, I want to launch this, and all we have to do is grab the pieces and we can go. And it's super simple and super easy.
Right.
So I got to see a lot of that fun stuff behind the scenes, all the stuff that you guys saw from the forward end. I got to see all the brain chemistry of Carrie coming into fruition from back here, and it was magic. Absolute magic.
You're sweet. The thing about launching is I don't do it. Right? Like, I have evergreen programs, and I am consistently in my sales and marketing. It's me I'm selling. It's not a program. It's not a program name. It's not deliverables. It's my skill sets, what I am best equipped to help my clients with, etc. And you're right. We did start around, I would say, October of last year. So in 2024, we started it. And then in 2025, we went for even more. And what was great about the launching thing is that since I hadn't really launched anything, and I was like, let's launch a boot camp. This could be fun. And then, so that was like a little cash infusion into my business. And then we're doing the webinar. We're doing the webinar that's going to be on December 29th. So we were able to create that first launch template for a paid offer, and now a second launch template for a freebie offer. And now anytime I go to launch, you're going to be able to just duplicate that card and give me a card of the things that I need to do. And I will tell you, it is December 17th, the 29th is when the webinar is going to be, and we're almost done completely setting it up. I can tell you, I have literally never been that ahead in my business before, ever. But because of making more room and being able to have more room in my own brain, have more room to help my clients better, to not have as much one-on-one client facing work, and have it be more of a high touch, high support, but group program. And that was a huge shift for me. The other thing that was funny was I'd been trying to create a mastermind with a different name when the mastermind that I really needed to be growing even more was the one I already had. And that just took me a little bit of a smack upside the head from my own business coach, my own business mentor that I hired this year, because I hadn't had a high proximity coach in over a year. And I was kind of stalled for a year. So I don't think that's a mistake. I think that, we can't see what we can't see. So having that, and then really just going more all in on the sisterhood to grow it, expand it. We put in this year the anti-framework playbook in there. So it's got that in the background that the clients can use. And then we added the Telegram. When we added the Telegram channel, I mean, all of you guys had been getting really decent results. But once we added the Telegram channel, where you were all connecting even more. And then we added the Telegram channel for that in-between access for me to review certain things or do looms and give feedback in real time, was the moment I think that this sisterhood really started shooting forward. Wouldn't you agree?
I think the big thing with the Telegram thing is that it works really well for our brains, because when we're meeting once every week or once every couple of weeks, we have to hang on to something to bring to the event. You're like you say, we're now or not now people. So the Telegram gave us a place to be able to put the things that are happening in our brain right now.
Right.
And like you said, build a community in there. We're able to talk to each other within it. And that's really amazing too. but that's something that you're just excellent at, is knowing how our brains work and delivering the things that we need in order for us to succeed with that, you know?
Right. Well, we originally put it in Kajabi. If you remember, we originally put it in Kajabi, and I'm like, it is not doing what I want it to do. It is not connecting you all more to each other, which was a huge part of it, and connecting you to me in an easier way. And so when I thought, let's do Telegram, and I'll have just like different sections, because I don't know if the people listening know this, but I'm a certified life coach, and I use that part of coaching because it's different. Coaching for the technical parts and nuances of actual business and business growth is one thing. And then there's the whole mindset piece. Well, I come to the mindset piece with a life coaching hat on, which is very different than the consulting side and the business coaching side, right? So bringing that in, so there's a chat in the Telegram for just that, for mindset. There's a chat in the Telegram for like the technical and social media. There's a chat in there just for the women, just for all of you. I barely even go in there or listen. It's for all of you to talk with each other. I mute that chat, but I go in there from time to time. But that's for you guys to be able to stay connected. And once all of that happened, all of you started connecting better. Once we took it out of Kajabi and put it more on an app that people are using like regularly, right?
Like
so it could
be a text message. It's so much easier to navigate.
Yes. And I just loved when I started adding Voxer coaching into my coaching, I realized how much power I was able to give all of you through that way, that delivery system. And because we want, I've said this many times, but it's like an ADHDer's wet dream to like get an immediate response. Like, right? And when I say immediate, let me be clear on what that means. 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Like no one's dying. Nobody's going to the hospital. Nobody's losing an arm. Nothing's an emergency. Literally nothing in my business and nothing in my client's business is a emergency. It's like very rare, unless they're having like a personal emergency. That's different. But nothing with your clients, none of that's an emergency. And also giving myself the ability to say nothing's an emergency, and knowing that 24 to 48 hours response time is more than fair. And my clients get that real personal touch that they love. And so I don't know, it just married everything together so much better than I could have possibly imagined. And it was one of those things like, Kajabi's not working. What do I do now? What do I implement now to see if, we can all be connected and get my clients even better results? And boy, this was it. I mean, one of my clients who's been with me a little less than, I would say since July, she's about to have her highest cash month in 2025 in December. So don't tell me there's no business in December, because that's bullshit. And she's not just a person who has a product like that is only good for holidays. That's something she sells all year long, right? Another few clients who honed in on their messaging a little bit better and who their ideal client is. And then we married their skill set and really made that unrepeatable genius positioning that I've been talking about a lot. And all that does is simplify your business even more, right? So having that positioning for all of you, bringing that in. The other thing is bringing in the red phone calls, where you guys can all come in the 6-month commitment twice, anytime you want to, and book a call with me. And usually I'll be able to hop on within 24 to 48 hours. Why? Because I no longer have every single day as a client-facing day, right? I have 3 client-facing days where I will book clarity calls, book client calls if I have any of those red phone calls, but I'm not client-facing every day either. And so these things have all just really added up to helping you guys have better results. Because my goal, I don't give a shit about what I think, or, it's more about taking what you think and what you need and how we get that working for you. And it's happening to every one of you. And that makes me excited, because I know that the things we're working on and the things that are going on in your brain are part of the equation, but they're not the whole equation. And it's been so fun to watch. So let's talk a little bit about your positioning. I mean, we can talk about kind of like when we started working together, because you've done a couple of different podcast episodes with me, but I would like to talk a little bit about your own road. So if I just can kind of open it up to like where you were when we kind of met, when you rebelled against our friendship, which we've talked about, and not in a bad way. It's just really one of like I think it's the funniest part of our story.
It is the funniest part. You forced me to be your best friend. That's just the way it is.
My bad. My bad.
And I'm really glad you did. Yeah, no, when we first met, well, gosh, when we first met versus when we first started working together, I guess is maybe there's quite a bit of space between that, but not quite a bit, but some. But when we first started working together, I was a bit of a disaster, and not necessarily because like I didn't know what I was doing. It was more directional. It was a little bit more like trying to find the best path forward for me.
Right.
And there's mindset too. Like you said, you have that life coaching.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of that needed to come forward in order for me to get the clearer on where I'm going and things like that too. So that was really, really helpful. But when I first started working with you, I was working as a virtual assistant only, just helping people behind the scenes and doing whatever, literally whatever. Someone needed something, I'd be like, okay, I'll figure it out. If I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out.
Right.
And that's part of my skill set, right? Like I can figure things out, which is really, really kind of fun for me.
Very helpful. It's very fucking helpful. Let's just
it is
that way.
But it is so hard to market that. It is so hard to call in the right people with that.
Right.
And so you really helped me to understand myself better, what I did well, and not only in working with you behind the scenes and understanding the things I love to work with you,
right,
but also through your coaching. And like you said, you don't come in here and coach someone or help someone in their business by putting expectations on it or projecting anything into it. You literally dig into what's going on in here and you take it out and you put it out in front of us in a way that made me see all the bits and pieces so that I could put them together in a way that worked for me. And with your perspective in having ADHD and knowing how, I mean, you probably saw a lot of things fall together in a certain way for me before I did, but you letting me get there, and kind of just being that guiding light and sharing also your unique perspective and how this could work and the things you see in me, because that's something with ADHD people that we are really good at, is not seeing ourselves, not understanding what we have to offer. Because if it's not like right in front of us right now, we're just like, well, that's something I did once, but it's not something that's part of this very moment in front of me. So you helping with that. But I think the pivotal moment for us, what happened not that long ago, when we were having a conversation, when we're talking about like what I'm doing and what I really enjoy and where I want to go in my business with 2026 and beyond. And you said something about, Brooke, you love to launch. You're like a launch lady.
Well, what's funny, let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell them about the comment about launching in 10 years. Because that's really what sparked it for me, was a off the cuff comment that you made that my brain just held on to for the right moment, apparently.
Yeah. I told you, I said, I'm tired of, and I've literally been launching my business for 10 years, over 10 years.
Right.
And you were like, but that's what you're good at. You're good at doing that. And I think it was kind of this moment where you're, when you said that, I realized that was my ADHD novelty thing.
Yes.
That was I like to launch. It's not necessarily that I want to start over all the time.
Right.
It's just that I was searching for that little hit of dopamine. And so I was like, well, I'm to this point in my business where things are at a certain point and probably going to tip over the edge and do well, but I'm bored.
And you get right. Okay. My observation from over here, from knowing you, is you would get right there. And then you'd be like, okay, well, here's what came up for, I was like, oh no. Okay. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, I so deeply have wanted to like help you figure out what that thing is for your brain. And it isn't an easy thing. Like, we cannot see ourselves as a whole. But when you said that off the cuff comment, and then we started talking about launching, and then your brain was still trying to keep it so small, right? You're like, well, just launching podcasts. And I'm like, or free resources, or programs, or cash injections for clients, which you started talking about in your stories today, which I love. But we went in on podcasts for a few weeks. You put out some really solid content around that. We really honed in on your messaging. And I'm going to guess your content is a lot easier to create now. right? Because you really feel like, I know exactly what to say, who I'm talking to, and what I'm helping them with. Would you say that's true?
Yes. And I will say this, I'm not trying to rip myself apart here or anything, but every time I've done this and you've been there with me, you've always helped me get really clear on who I'm talking to so the content gets easier.
Yeah.
But this is the first time where I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do also.
Yeah.
It's not just,
well, yeah, maybe I guess I can. It's not like, oh, I guess I can do that. Oh, I guess I can do that.
It's where I seriously feel so aligned with it that, I mean, I know not only am I knowing who I can talk to, but also that I'm very excited to talk to them and to help them with this stuff. So,
and what's happened to your business because of it? I'm just curious. Well, Carrie, let me tell you.
All kinds of cool stuff. The other day, I called myself a professional.
You did. I heard that. I was like, who are you? You're like, this, I haven't brought my profession into because for people who don't know, Brooke works at a bakery once a week to get out around humans. It literally has nothing to do with like money. It has nothing to do with that. It's just like a fun thing for her to do in her community. And so she has, it's called Bread Day, and she goes to the bakery and does all that. So you were at the bakery and you talked about your profession outside of the bakery, and then you caught yourself and you're like, oh, I called it a profession. Is that something like the first time in 10 years of like working on finding your way and running your business? Is that like the first time where you're like, this is my work?
Yeah. Like it's not, I've always struggled with telling people what I do, and not necessarily because I can't describe it, but it's because I haven't ever felt it it's not, I shouldn't say it like I've never felt like it's legitimate, because it brings me money. It makes me money, but there's also like this overlying thing of people judge that I left my full-time safe corporate job, and I know, gag.
How I feel about that.
Yeah. And then, but here I am now, full circle, coming to this point where I'm offering what I do to something that I would consider a quote unquote, real job to people. I'm offering the job that I never really gave myself permission to say is a real job to a person who has one. Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Well, I just think that like I said, when I left corporate America, I've been struggling ever since then to find the thing that makes me feel like you can go to Christmas and tell everybody what you do and be proud. Like you can go back to your high school reunion and be like, I'm a successful business owner, and things like that. Mm-hmm. And it looks so much different now than I ever thought it would. But yeah, this is the first time that it feels like, and I think I was just waiting for that alignment, for it to feel like I'm really proud of what I do. Not that I haven't been proud of it before, but it's just a different moment. You've coached me into this different moment in my business where I now feel internally like I have the right to succeed in this. And I know that's a very like backward things to say, but that's the way that the brain works sometimes. Like we put these blocks up where we're like, we sometimes just have to get to the point where we feel like we deserve it. Yeah. And I finally feel like I'm in the alignment part of my life where I feel like I deserve this now. Ooh. And you got me there, friend.
Don't make me emotional. Well, you had to do the work. I just can shine a light. Like you have to go towards it. And you know how I knew we hit it? You brought your podcast back, renamed it, recorded a few episodes. Your emails have been going out regularly. You're in. And we can say things all day long, but the actions behind it are how I know, okay, this is lining up for your brain, because I see the things you're doing, the actions you're taking all line up with what your messaging is, who you're talking to and who you're helping. The other thing is you're being hired. You've got more inquiries, you're having more conversation, you're getting new followers. Would you say that is all happening?
Yeah, that is all happening. I started to talk about podcasts. I remember I told you, I was like, I'm just going to talk about this for like a week and see how it goes. The big thing, and we can not talk about this like forever, but the big thing was when I first started, it felt too big. Like there was too many things I could launch.
Sure.
We were like, narrow it down, talk about one thing for a while. So we talked about podcasts for a while. And ever since then, I have had so many people in my inbox saying, I've always wanted to do this, but I never thought it was this easy, or I never really thought that I should or could or would work for what I do as a business owner.
Right.
And it hit a chord with so many people. And when you start to see that and you're like, okay, I really can help a lot of people do something with this. That really does make you feel good about what you're doing.
Right.
But then more people are, they're like, well, I need more help with that. Can you help me launch the actual podcast? And then within that, you also get other people just saying, you know what, I want to launch this, that, or the other thing. Can you help me do that? The conversation has been a buzz since I got very clear and excited again about what I do.
Yeah. And that's really exciting to see from the outside in as your mentor, because I know how long it took us to get here, but everything had to happen as it happened for you to get here. And I've talked about this, like everything I've gone through in my life and all the things that have happened with me and to me have all built up to where I am now. And if I didn't have all of those experiences, burning down 2 businesses from burnout and undiagnosed ADHD, like I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing and help the people I'm helping in the way that makes sense to you all, right? Like I wouldn't do any of that. So for you, it's the same thing. Like those 10 years were really you experimenting, racking up skills that you bring to the table. And now we have this fun phrase, the launch lady, that just came out in a sisterhood call one time. I'm like, what about the launch lady? You went and got yourself a cool font that stands out, but it's legible. So I'm just like, go girl. It's like legible and fun. It's very you. You brought that old school feel and new school feel together. I love the like little intro with like the antiques in the house. Like just, it feels so you, it's ridiculous. And it's gaining you traction. So we hit lightning in a bottle. We got both. We got something your brain loves, is not trying to rebel against, still has that novelty. You're going to be able to kick yourself in the dopamine regularly, all that stuff. And doing something specific that even though it may be similar with each person, it's going to be different with each person, and that will kick you in the dopamine. So it feels like this like landing. Like when I started seeing you, literally we created it and like, I don't even think it was the next day I got an email and I was like, the girl is in. She's on it. She's in, she's on it, and then but more than anything was getting the traction. Getting the traction for you and it's not that you didn't have any. It's just that when we are trying to focus in so many directions, especially before a certain point in our business, honing in on messaging and repeating it over and over and over and over again for a while to get yourself seen and known for that, then allows you to expand it. For example, Spanx, she literally just started with shapewear and that's it. She did one thing really fucking well. And then eventually Spanx jeans came in and I think there's Spanx shoes and like, right. So she brought in the brand, but the brand started not that way. Right. So this is something that I really help you all do, is figure out the 1 or 2 things in messaging and all that we can go all in on and really get you known for that. And then expand it once you have your raving fans. And that's really where we're at, is right now you're at that part where you're really starting to find those clients who are like your fuck yes, dreamy clients, not just you're letting yourself be paid to do something you love instead of letting yourself be paid to do something just because you can. And there is a moment in business where you get to make that decision and choose those boundaries and create that for yourself. And when you do, it shifts the trajectory of your business. And I feel like 2026 is going to be insanely amazing for you, because the other thing about podcasting is not everybody wants to launch a podcast because they want to be the next Mel Robbins. And one of the things you said in your marketing that I am obsessed with is the fact of us having fear of being perceived in 2,200 characters. I was like, like that's all you and your marketing. That kicked me in the ding ding. I was like, yes, that is so fucking true, right?
Right in there. It is. Yeah. The 2,200 characters. If you're someone who or the 30-second clips of a reel.
Sure.
It's hard sometimes. I hear a lot of people talk about how even in their stories are like, I feel like I have so much more to say.
Right.
And being concise in your marketing and narrowing down your words is a skill set that you need to also have for being a business owner.
Sure.
But I believe the podcast gives you that opportunity to put your words out there in the way that you speak, in the way that you exist as a human being. And then you can narrow it down from there, but it gives you the place to put it. It gives you the place to be the most you.
Yes.
And it takes away that fear of being perceived in some small snippet somewhere.
Yeah. No. And I know that there are other neurodivergent business owners who are like, yes, I am wordy. You know me, I'm wordy. Cutting my content down like I will write it and then I will put it in AI and be like, cut this in half. I come up with my content, I create my hooks, I write all of that, and then I use Chat GPT and Claude just to help me refine because I'm fucking wordy. And I need sometimes to be more concise in my content, even though I'm the one who creates it. I let Chat help me shrink it, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to a podcast like this, where we can talk about behind the scenes of what it really looks like in more than 3 minutes, right? Because on Instagram, you can go up to 3 minutes. And for the new year, I'm going to be cutting my episodes to 20 minutes. So like really keeping them bite sized. And, you know, my podcast has evolved over time. I don't have hundreds of thousands of listeners, but I will tell you, guess where I get a lot of my business from? The fucking podcast. I use SEO when people search for entrepreneurs with ADHD, you know, basically business coaches for women with ADHD. I come up. I don't know exactly how, except for using SEO. I use search engine optimization words that people are searching in my show notes. But that's really gotten that exposure. So a podcast isn't just something to launch because you necessarily want to monetize it in the standard way. You're monetizing it by sending people to your Instagram, sending people to your website. They get to hear your vernacular. They get to hear you not speaking in fucking jargon and just being who you are and saying behind the scenes, like, oh, this person is totally my jam. It just gives people a different perspective. And so when my clients come to me, they come to me with like, if they're referred, they come with an inherent trust, but also from the podcast, there's an inherent trust. You know, they come with the knowledge that I actually know what I'm talking about, as opposed to reading some script or creating content that's, you know, wash, rinse, repeat. You know, but yeah, no, it's a freebie. It's a free resource, just like another free resource where you have a download or a private podcast or anything like that. And I feel like that has been such a great outlet. And I know that you've been finding that a great outlet too. I know one of our other clients, my other client, Ashley, she's got that podcast going and she's enjoying that. Like, it's been a real fun ripple effect because I've had my podcast for over 3 years. And now it's fun kind of seeing other people starting their own and having your help too, which has been really cool that some of the women have come to you and are able to, you know, get that set up. So that's just been really exciting side effect of the whole podcast. Plus for me, the podcast has my ADHD diagnosis in real time. Like literally capturing that is like, I'm so glad I have it because I can send somebody to particular episodes and be like, if you want to hear what it was like before, you can go to this episode and tell me that you don't think you can get to where I'm at. I promise you can.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that too, because your whole simplification process is documented here as well.
Yeah, it's
when
crazy.
You did that 5 series episode or 5 series,
the 6, the
6 series,
yeah.
From there on out, is like where things started to simplify for you, and then it just like from there.
Yep.
So you get to see that in there as well. Those 6 episodes were my favorite ever.
I like those episodes, and I love the 4 that I did on money and ADHD brains.
Yes, those were great too.
But the 6 are fun because that's kind of like my anti-framework playbook, kind of like some of the things that I teach inside the sisterhood on the back end through the anti-framework playbook that's in there. And it's 25 modules. And no, I do not send my clients to watch all 25 modules because you don't fucking need that, right? So I can send you to 1 or 2 of the modules to learn some basic things that maybe are not common knowledge, filter through the lens of ADHD, and then have you guys bring that to me and we customize it. We make it yours, make it to you. And so just the way that the sisterhood has grown internally has been probably my favorite part of simplifying, because I'm really able to focus on you all in a deeper way and a better way and giving more red carpet service. You know, if somebody offboards with me, I want to know, you know, if they don't repeat, which my clients tend to rehire me. So we don't tend to send out a lot of emails that are like, okay, if you want to, you know, keep going. But it's just been really awesome to see it grow the way it has. And you've been there since almost day 1, since it was a membership, right? And have been there all the way through. What do you think you've noticed from the beginning when it was ADHD Entrepreneur office hours as opposed to where it is now? What has changed for you and become more helpful to you overall inside the sisterhood? What do you think?
Wow, picking one thing's tough. Because the thing is it's an evolution, and I'm attracted to evolution. And it has changed from this place where it's just elevated. I don't know how else to explain that, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all. It's just elevated. The things that people are, the questions we have, the places, and I think it's because we've all grown with it.
Yes.
Now we're in this place where, and we're all growing together. But there's the Telegram. I love that. I love to hear where everyone's at. I love to have access to be able to ask a question here and there, right when it comes to my brain. But I just think that overall, what it comes to mind is just this evolution of it, the elevation of it.
Right. And that's a good lesson for anyone listening, allowing things to evolve. Allowing it to evolve. I was kind of standing in the way of its evolution for a little bit of the year. And then when I realized that, I'm like, duh. It's like when we're inside our businesses, there are things we can't see because we're in the middle of the eye, right? Everything's happening all around us. We can't see clearly. But sometimes it's those who are on the outside looking in who really can help us get that clarity. And so when I hired my own mentor for business growth, nuance the shit I can't see because I'm in it, that was really a big step forward for me, because when I hired her, I changed. I invested in myself in a way that I've invested before, but not with as much intention as I did when hiring Z. And that was such an intentional decision in knowing that she understood my brain. And I laugh because her husband has ADHD. I'm like, oh, yep. Okay. That's fine. Like, as long as somebody who understands how our brains work, that's it. That's the key. And I would say a majority of my clients, actually, all of you have said at one point or another, it's because I didn't realize what I was missing with somebody coaching me with a brain like yours, like mine. And I feel like that is probably the most important key this past year, was really getting to know all of you even better, how your brains work in particular, and making sure that my coaching is lining up with the way that your brains work and you work. And that's kind of the benefit of long-term coaching, is the person knows you. They understand your isms. They understand your rebellion. Sometimes they understand your stresses or struggles because of being around you a longer time frame. Has that been something? Have you had coaching at this extent for this length of time before, or is this the first time really you've ever had it?
This is the first time, long-term for sure. And I think, like you said, having someone understand you, especially as a person with ADHD, and especially as someone who's evolving as a person with ADHD, because you're learning more about yourself all the time. And if you take, you've seen where I was when we first met versus where I am today, all those nuances that came in between. If I took this version of myself to a coach right now, there'd be so much missed, because what you can see when my brain is hitting up against the wall. What happens to me when I do that. You know how to take me off the ledge of that. You know how to pull me forward again in it. And you know when to stop. You know when to say, you know what, Brooke, maybe it's just time for you to take a second. And those things because you know me. And that is something that you do so well, is how am I going to give my clients the best fucking experience they can have while they're here with me. And you feel that from you every single time. You're like, and you keep adding things, like you said, the red phone, the Telegram, that you've layered things on top of things that we didn't initially know we were going to get when we signed up for this.
Right.
And now it's in this place where, you just serve the shit out of us. I don't know how else to put it. And and you know us so well.
Yeah.
And you make that a point. To know a person with ADHD is to be able to coach a person with ADHD, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And without that, you put so much effort into that. You just do.
I give a shit.
You do. You give a shit.
Yeah.
A few.
Yeah. Many shits. No. And to know you is to know your business.
Yeah.
Just any client, to know them is to know their business. Like, you can bring your business in, but really it's you that that's at the core, and it doesn't matter at what point you are in your business. It's like knowing the person is the best way to help them over the long haul. And the more I get to know somebody in their business, the better I get to help them, and I love doing the 90-minute deep dive, because the deep dive, like my clients will walk in like confused as hell, and they'll leave like, what just happened in 90 minutes? And I didn't know I could do that. That's something I discovered this year. That's like totally my jam. And then they get 2 weeks after the fact to kind of ask questions, right? So I have a client doing this right now, and she straight up was like, I've literally never felt this supported as an entrepreneur in she's been a coach for 5 years, and just hit some burnout and had to take like a pause on her business. And so she's coming back in, coming out of burnout. And I'm like making sure that, she's doing a couple things a day instead of all the things every day, and just making sure I have that check-in point with her. And once you all get to see how much more simple it gets to be, and I'm not saying easy, because business isn't easy, okay? But simplicity in your business means your brain gets to have a lot less on its plate, and you will help your clients so much better, because your focus isn't on all the bullshit behind the scenes. It's literally on your people. And when you do that, your business will multiply and grow, and you will get referrals, and people will stay with you longer. And just as a coach, it helps. And as you grow, you have to give up certain things. You have to add certain things as you evolve. But I did them in a way that honored my energy. And I no longer feel like, this is the first year in my business, coming up on year 5, that I haven't felt like I don't know what I'm doing, that I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. None of those things are here anymore. But it took time. It took time. And that's kind of what has happened for you too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you help us design that too. When it's part of your coaching, you're like, well, do you want to work on Mondays, or do you want to be in your business on Mondays?
Right.
You ask those questions. But yeah, and when you get really clear about what you want to do, it becomes easier to do all the tasks within your business as well.
For sure.
And like creating content, you can sit down and just do that because you know what you need to create.
Yeah.
Or you say, you have your CEO Mondays, and you model that for us too. Like, take a day that's just for you and your business. Build your dream schedule in front of you.
Yeah.
You don't have to yes, business is not easy. And yes, the business does take a lot of grit and gumption and things like that. But you also get to decide what that looks like.
Right.
And not everybody tells you that.
No. No. There are some people who want to put you in something cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And even though my onboarding is the same for even though my onboarding is the same for everybody, like the documents and the processes, the onboarding is never the same for anybody, right? It's like, it's the same but different, because they're filling out the same form. Like, let's talk to kind of round this out. Let's talk a little bit about the launching. So I decided to launch a 3-day boot camp, and then literally turned around 2 weeks later, and I'm doing this class on the 29th, where I'm kind of going to talk about the state of the industry. I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is AI. It's not really an elephant, and I don't think people with ADHD need to be as afraid of it as they might be, because of how it actually helps us organize our brains. I think there's a lot of advantages there. But we created the card to kind of like launch that first offer and put that together for my business. And then now we're doing the free one. And then we will have these to wash, rinse, repeat whenever I want to launch anything. So how has it been easy to help create that process in my business for you? Like, what are the things that you're seeing beneficial, besides the fact that the thing is on the 29th, it's the 17th, and we're already almost ready to go?
And I think the more important part is you told me about this, like 4 or 5 days ago?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
we're just putting the finishing touches on it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think that was the biggest part. It was, the first launch took us a little bit more time. But it was a little bit more of an extensive launch too. There was a little more to it.
Right.
This is one call versus the 3.
Right.
This is a, just a slightly different delivery.
Right.
But when we did the big one first, right? And we knew all the bits and pieces that went into that. And then we were just able to copy all the things we did. I was able to separate the tasks out. These are yours. Get them to me. Then I'll do these. And the one thing that you said to me in the last launch, and I'm hoping it's the same in this one, is you're like, I've never felt so at ease.
Yes.
Like, it's almost this panic of, shouldn't I be doing something?
Yes,
versus,
that's exactly what's going on. I keep
like,
going,
why am I not really busy and panicking right now?
Exactly. But that's what happens when you start to have repeatable systems. And I've known this and have been implementing that like towards the end of last year and into this year. But we really went in a little bit deeper when I decided to actually like launch a couple things and see like, oh, like how's the process that what's the process that we go through? Now we have a process for both. And I don't have to think anymore because I know you're just going to be able to duplicate this card inside of Trello. Tell me what my activities are. I get you those. And then I just keep talking to people. Like my job is to stay being a super connector, communicating with people, having conversations. Like that's really my part of the work. And so now that I know that we have these things repeatable behind the scenes, it's like an exhale. Because I don't have to really think about it. You're just going to be like, get me this, and that. My brain's like, okay, I can do that. I'll get you those things. And I think that over time, it's just going to get even easier. But again, I'm not a huge launcher. But it's just nice to really have that in there. And then we have the sisterhood and all of those activities, those couple of activities in the podcast that you helped me do. And that's why I have this time now. That's why I have this time back to take even better care of my clients because I have more brain space to be even a better coach.
I think though too, you say you're not a big launcher, and you're not, because you've simplified your business to the point where you don't have to launch. You've got the offer suite that's sustaining your, the offer suite, the freebie, the funnel is perfection. You've got that all down to an art because that's what you do. And that's what you're good at. And that's working really well within your business.
Right.
The cool thing is now, because ADHD, sometimes things hit and we're like, I really want to do this.
Yes.
I really want to help people with this.
Yeah.
And you can have that hit at midnight on a Sunday and we can be ready to launch by Wednesday, probably by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's one of those things where, you're not a huge launcher, but you can any given minute now like that.
Right.
It's simple.
Right. And these are just things that happen over time in any kind of coaching business. It's like you start to see cycles. You start to see, when people start marketing for the holidays, you start seeing when to start marketing for Black Friday if you want to do that, because it's not required, by the way. I don't do that. And if I do that, it's like I'll add something on. I don't cut my prices. Some people will give discounts, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have a friend of mine who does once a year. She gives like 12 days of different discounts and different things, and people look forward to it in her community all year long because they know it's coming. Those kind of things, I think those are all fantastic. There's so many different ways to make it work. And so what Brooke and I have talked about over and over again is if somebody is telling you there is only one way to do things, run, Forrest, run. It's a load of shit. It is not true at all. And every one of my clients is in different industries, but everything we're doing works across the board. And that has been the most exciting part of this whole year, is watching all of you go from doing beautiful work and thriving to being more seen, more found, more hired, making more money than you've ever made before. This is the goal for me as a coach. My own business, yes. Sustaining my own business, yes. Making money myself, yes. But I am as invested in your success as you are. Let's say 99%, because I'm not you. But I care about your businesses as much as you do. And hopefully that shows, because I just care that you get the traction you want to get. And I'm just seeing it happening with all of you in bigger ways, especially the second half of the year. And it's been so cool. It's been so cool to see you guys interlock with each other and have your businesses grow, I think, because of both parts, each other and the coaching. Having other people with brains like yours who just fucking get it. There's just something different about it. Sorry. It's like, we don't have a disability. We have, we're part of neurodiversity. Our brains, you can see in brain scans, they look different. The gray matter, the white matter. There's literal structural differences to our brain. So what that means is somebody running on Apple iOS, somebody running on Android, right? Different operating systems. You're still going to get to the same destination. I use that analogy all the time. But that happens within ADHD humans too, right? It is diversity of your neurology. So if I know something doesn't work for you, or I know you're up against it and rebelling against it, we're going to talk about how to come at it from a different angle until we find the angle where your brain's like, I'm not rebelling. I like this. Kind of like what happened with you.
Yeah.
With the launch lady. It's like going through all of those parts to get to that piece. And I'll be excited when we do this again at the end of next year to see where we've both gotten.
I know. I think the big thing too is you let us go through it. Like I said, I think that's something I said earlier, but you have to go through it. And as ADHD human beings, there's certain things we hit up against that are the same for all of us. We just experience it differently because we're who we are. But like RSD.
Yeah, we're talking about RSD right now, big time in there. It's huge.
Yeah. So having a place where you can go and say, I'm experiencing, like I can name the thing I'm experiencing. I'm experiencing RSD right now. And having a place to put that and say, I know it's bullshit, but here I am experiencing it.
Yes.
That's a huge part of that community too.
Yeah, because those brain gremlins, we share similar brain gremlins. They may come out differently, but they're in there and they have definite categories that they come out in, and they come up at specific times. And I just see that happening on repeat. And I'm like, okay, it's like we're different, but we're not all that different underneath with some of these things that we contend with. And that's the fun part for me, is getting to say, hey, you don't have to do it this way. We could do it this way, this way, this way, this way, and that way. And my clients are like, we can. I'm like, duh, of course. We can do whatever. You're going to have me help you tweak it and make sure that it's working and that it's getting traction, whatever it is you're doing or creating or selling or, coaching on. I'm going to help you come up with a way that what works for your brain and how to make it work for your business too. And I think that's kind of some of the secret sauce that we bring together, because it's a co-creation. It's a collab. It's not, yes, I will tell you what to do. Yes, I am a high touch, high direction coach, but I also know when I see you guys buck up against a wall, and I'm not going to just barrel through when you buck up against a wall. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to challenge you. You may not always love me in a moment when I'm challenging you.
Frying pan.
Yeah, frying pan of love, because I actually care. And I'd rather ask you the hard questions that nobody else is going to ask you, even if you don't want me to ask you that question, and let you just sit with it and marinate on it, because that's going to get you further than anything else. When you kind of start to find your own way in your brain and get to know your brain and get to know the solutions that work for you, my job is just to ask the questions to get you to the solution so that it works for you. Is there anything else you want to tell the people? Any end of year send off, because this is going to be our last episode of the year. Crazy.
My gosh.
I
know. No.
It's very you, Brooke.
Like, it is very me. I don't want to tell anybody how to celebrate their end of the year or how to go into their next year, because I wouldn't want anyone to tell me how to do it.
Well, that's very ADHD of you, and I will leave it there. And with that, I'm going to end today's episode. If you are an online coach who's ready to be held to really high standards and combine ADHD-friendly business growth strategy in a way your brain won't reject, and you're ready to make more money in your business and grow it, so you can love your life, my work is for you. And you can get into my world one of two ways. You can keep up with the latest and greatest by hopping onto my newsletter, The Frequency. It's exclusively for coaches who think or know they have ADHD, and the links are in the show notes. If you want to chat about simplifying your business directly, you can reach out to me to see what that growth looks like. You can book the free clarity call by sliding into my DMs at Carry Out Loud, or go to the link in the show notes to jump on a call with me. It's 30 minutes. It's not a coaching call. I just get to know you, your business, your goals. I ask questions and see if we are a match to work together. And thanks for coming on this final episode of the year, Brooke. It's always, you've helped my business so much, and you guys need to get yourself a Brooke, or get Brooke, which we've had that conversation before. And until next week or the new year, I see you, I love you, and I'm fucking rooting for you always. Stay feral. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. We're crazy, girl. I'll stop recording now.
I love it.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the ways to follow me. And of course, my goal is to find and help as many women with ADHD get away from the 9-to-5 grind, because it's just not designed for our neurospicy brilliance, and there are other ways to do life. So by subscribing, sharing, and giving a 5-star review, that helps other women find this podcast as well. And if there's an episode you really love, please feel free to take a screenshot and share it on your social and tag me in it so that I can thank you personally. Until next time, you spicy brained unicorn. Bye.